Greetings and salutations, everybody. We're back with more D&D Abeyance, which means I get to hand things over to Nick for this session.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Abeyance. When last we left off our investigative team, they were in the physical world attempting to find out what had happened to Alex Hernandez that had caused this recently deceased person to disappear from Limbo. And so they are currently investigating the circumstances of his apparent demise. I say apparent, I mean, his ghost did fucking show up in the afterlife,
Yeah,
so...
he did.
Mm-hmm. His ghost showed up in the afterlife, and then like a black like limo pulls up. He just disappears in a limo and is taken away by the Limbo Mafia. Is that a thing that exists?
Limbo Mafia.
Yeah, you got to really bend over backwards in order to appease them.
I was going to say, the Limbo Mafia does in fact exist, but not like in the sense we're talking about here. They're all about rigging Limbo games.
You guys are currently occupying physical bodies as you are in Miami, Florida, to investigate what happened to Alex Hernandez's physical body. His dog Betty, in spirit form, is accompanying you to try and find out what happened to her human. And the first thing that you guys did when you stopped off was heading to his apartment. You did some investigating around, and I don't know what details you guys think are important or not. But let's see. You looked in his you looked on his PC, saw some pictures. You looked around, his belongings. So the place was pretty clean. You looked in his bathroom and found some prescription medication. And Betty was also there and was upset that she couldn't play with her toys. Then after that, you decided to go to the place where Alex vanished seemingly while on a walk with Betty. Headed out to a place, a kind of dune-ish kind of place that was by the beach. And found that there was a convenience store nearby that might have a camera that would have potentially overseen the moment of his death. Were able to negotiate with the guy who ran the place and take a look at the security footage and saw that indeed Alex's body had apparently been carried off after the moment of his death, before the moment of his death, during the moment of his death. Who knows?
We're not sure. All we know is he was rolled up in a carpet. And we think it's him.
You saw it was also like not clear on some of the details because it was a security camera, filming stuff very, very briefly, 100 or more feet away. So, meanwhile, while the guys that were in human form were doing that, our last investigator, Jerome, who is in full-on owl form while in the physical world, looked around for a place that the body could have conceivably been carried to, and went over to a nearby parking lot. And due to some internet problems that we had with Ash last time, I didn't get to give you the stuff that you rolled for. So we're going to go ahead and do that this time.
Woo-hoo!
So Ash,
All right.
Jerome is in this kind of... I call it a parking lot, but it's really more of those kind of public parking areas that, has a somewhat trust system based parking fee system where, like if you go in, park your car, then go over to the little booth and kind of just like put in the money so that the one toll parking thing for the entire lot registers that there is a car there. So in case someone comes by, they'll know, okay, this car is here and they've actually paid for the time. You are looking around in that area, and at first you don't see anything super suspicious, but as you're looking around the place, you have already rolled for this, you find that there is an area that is kind of somewhat close to it. that is like next to some hedges, trees, and you are able to tell based on the fact that a number of branches are all kind of broken off at the same height, that someone parked a vehicle over here. It's not. It's basically within the lot, but it's not one of the actual spaces in the lot. And when you kind of perch in such a way that you're like over that section where there are the cutoff branches, you see that if someone were to have parked their vehicle here, they would have direct line of sight to that clearing where you guys were looking around before, where Alex had seemingly vanished from.
So we found the spot where they were watching Alex, possibly.
And let me see if I can scroll back through the history here.
The last thing I did was
you got an
investigation roll.
18 perception. Oh, you got a 19 investigation. Actually, that was the last thing you rolled.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you straight up like can see some tracks leading away from where this vehicle was, and then coming back. And when they're coming back, you see some telltale signs that they were burdened. The indentation of the shoes are a little bit deeper. And then there is some sort of indication that something was partially dragged at a certain point while this burden was being carried.
All right. So at this point, Jerome's he's like, okay, so this is really watched them. They went down, they did the business, they took the body back up here, loaded it in the car, and he looks around and he kind of like flitters up above the parking lot, and he's looking for any like security cameras that are facing the parking lot, so we can maybe get a license plate or something off a car.
Make a perception check for me.
All right. And because he is in an owl form, and this is something with wisdom and sight, he gets advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So let me.
Very cool.
Hooray, bird.
Yay, bird.
Only. I should do it. Did I go through?
10.
It's pretty average.
All
For
right.
Zero.
Since you were actively looking for a security camera, and because, security cameras aren't like, if for a security camera for a place like this wouldn't necessarily be super hidden, you do spot one that is kind of overseeing this area. It's one of those kind of things where, like, obviously someone's not going to be monitoring it super closely. It's just in the case of, like, if something bad goes wrong, then we have this thing that we can pull to investigate. But you just kind of see the camera. That's about what you get from your perception roll.
All right. So Jerome is now has a lead for them, and now he needs to figure out is Jerome able to speak in this form, or is Jerome like full on owl?
You can communicate with the others for convenience's sake, we will say.
All right. So at this point,
if you want to communicate with someone outside of your companions, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
He's speaking in Morse code. All right. At this point, Jerome has kind of done all that he can do with his body. So he's going to note the location of the camera that they could possibly try to use to get some kind of information from. And heads, like, not like, he doesn't like head directly back to everybody, but he's kind of like circling above where they're at until he can find an opportunity to come down and converse with them where they have some privacy.
Okay. The rest of you guys had, as far as I can remember, you had gotten a good look at the security footage. Mm-hmm. Gideon had taken a full-on photograph of a freeze frame of the security footage that showed a wrapped up thing, a body, being carried. And then you guys just kind of headed off. And also, I believe, Dentalion, you asked the guy running the place to contact a contact of yours if he had any update about those disappearances that you tipped him off to. The string of disappearances that you made up. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to just say that you guys walk outside at right around the same time that Jerome is flying back. You guys were basically carrying on your two different investigations concurrently.
All right. So Jerome, like, just
So
kind
yes,
of,
we are also in possession of an absurd quantity of energy drinks, if I remember correctly.
Right. You bought basically
Yeah.
a display box. Tan partook in a couple of them, I believe.
Yes.
But you are carrying this very obtrusive, very brightly colored display case.
Whatever.
A debate whether Tan has had like 3 or 5 of those 5-hour energies. I mean, it says 5 on the bottle, so you assume that's what one dose is, right?
Oh God.
you need 5 for an hour of energy. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
Right.
That's like it's a mathematic conversion right there. You know, it's weird that they don't sell them in a 5-in-1 bottle, but you know,
It's a good thing this isn't your actual body. Like,
it is okay. I'm like, wait, it is it now?
I am in the process of trying to cripple this body with these energy drinks.
oof.
So like,
Rico's very
I'm,
closet.
Oh no, I forgot. I forgot. That is actually your body. I got confused as to who was actually occupying a temporary body and who was just using their transformation abilities. So this is actually your body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is this Tan's
Yeah,
body.
Tan
Yeah.
and Reiko are using loners, but everyone else is doing something else.
Right.
no, I'm using a loner also. No,
Yeah,
wait.
she said
No,
Dan,
you
not
said
Tan.
you were
Oh, yeah,
doing
Dan.
like
Okay. Yeah.
What-
Yep, I'm using a
Okay.
loner because my real body
Okay.
is made out of shadows.
I just look like
Okay.
I'm human. That's
Right. 3
Oh
of you.
boy, flesh! Watch me abuse it. Ha ha! Pain sure is hilarious.
Right. 2 of you are in your just natural forms. The other 3 are occupying. Right. Okay. Okay. What?
So do I do, so do I do a save or die check right now? Is that what I'm supposed to do right now?
No, it's not that bad, but you should make a Constitution roll. I think.
I've done one, but let's do another one.
awesome.
Well,
I didn't want.
I believe that was for
I
3. So.
No. I was joking. I was like, I'll just do another one just for funsies here.
Well,
16.
clearly-
a lot better than the
I-
last one.
I did bot this time.
I mean, Tan, you feel like you're going to need to pee really soon, but you're kind of you've gotten used to the initial rush that comes with downing one of these things.
Gideon has taken out one of the bottles and examining the ingredient list.
I can't begin to tell you what's
No,
in
that's
these
exactly
things.
that's exactly my point. Interesting.
Chlorine and then a bunch of other stuff you can't recognize.
I'm impressed they managed to get the text on this so small.
I'm snorting pixie sticks like it's cocaine.
Are you inhaling sugar, Dan?
I'm trying to.
That is what we called it in the 80s.
Why?
Nose candy?
I repeat, why?
I don't know. One of the souls we talked to a while back talked about nose candy, so I'm giving it a shot.
Was that not a euphemism for something? Was it literal?
Oh, we're gonna find out.
I
You
suppose.
you absolutely are going to make a Constitution saving roll.
I
If you're inhaling sugar into your nose, you're fine.
I've definitely known people who have done the line of a pixie stick.
I'm just checking to see if his nose is bleeding, and apparently
Yeah.
he's fine.
is that not uncomfortable, Dan?
A little?
All right, whatever.
I'm told it's very enjoyable. I'm waiting for that to happen.
No. I'm thinking about getting one of those. What do they call them? Empanadas before we leave here.
I suspect those are probably tasty.
But at this
But,
time.
I was just-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like in terms of like nose kid is like I wonder if Jerome's a snow owl. Is that what that is? It's just like,
Hey!
Well, at any rate,
About this
here?
at this point, Jerome
Jerome.
kind of pops down, and he does the look around, does the 360 look around because he's an owl and he can do that. He's like, I think I found where they moved the body.
There's
good.
According to some security footage we found, there appears to be a carpet of some sort involved.
Carpet.
Yes.
Well, that would make sense.
I would show you the photo, but I have to have it developed first.
Jerome kind of like tilts his head like an Alan is like, that makes sense. There were some large drag marks and footprints leading up to a car parking lot.
I'm gonna step into a analysis. I can show you the photo, and I will cast minor illusion as soon as I determine no one else is watching to show the photo.
Well done.
Ooh.
It's a good use.
Rika's
I
going
like
to just kind of observe the camera and is just going to kind of shake her head but say nothing.
It's an
she understands that, like, this is his thing. I see. And it's just not going to, like, press the matter unless necessary.
It's a camera. You take an image and replicate it onto film. Gideon understands this now.
Reiko is young enough that that she may have never seen a film camera like it.
She's definitely played Resident Evil 2.
Also, I will say if she's in archaeology, she is definitely aware of film-based cameras.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yep.
Academia in general does lag behind. It does have some people who lag behind on that sort of stuff. I guarantee she had a professor who was big into film, into actual physical media.
And was just like, no, it ruins the quality of the discovery of pictures if you have it digitally done. It could yeah.
Well, never mind that your digital files can be erased. Actual film, it's there, and it'll eventually rot away, sure, but
never mind that. Like film flashes have been known to damage works of art.
Yes.
What? No, don't be ridiculous.
Also,
once it's on the internet, it's there forever.
Also, in this setting, you guys have had to deal with problems of cameras stealing souls. So
yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, legitimate concern for you guys. So
yeah, I mean, it's annoying when someone else when people I'm supposed to be working for has their soul stolen. Yeah, sure. Not really an issue for me.
All right. So you guys are Jerome. I guess you get a chance to see this footage, and I will just straight up tell you that the direction that you see this quote unquote carpet being carried in is directly in the direction. Wow, Nick, of the lot that you were checking out before.
Cool.
Oh, why don't we go check out the lot then? Might as well get more eyes good.
I think there are some security cameras there. We could check to see maybe if we can get
perhaps the run the cameras will be more amenable to letting us see their footage without recompense than the shop owner there.
Yeah, they didn't see anyone there, so maybe.
Gideon says he stares at his handful of completely useless energy drinks.
All right, you guys head off.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you guys all get to the lot, you all, besides Jerome, can also give me a perception check.
Absolutely.
As I'm going to say that Jerome, you've just straight up like point out the camera to people as an indication of like, okay, maybe we can get something off of this.
Yeah, wow, I'm rolling relatively well today.
The jokester in me is like, Cameron gets advantage of perception for seeing through time now that he's just been over caffeinated.
Cameron,
you rolled an 8.
Is you know what?
Vibrating?
Tan,
are you vibrating?
I thought that was a feature.
Might be. I don't know. I don't understand the purpose of these drinks.
There's some good rolls. Jeez.
Yeah.
So as you guys are taking a look around the place, so here's what we'll do.
Expand consciousness.
I doubt it. There's sugar.
Okay, here's what we'll do. You guys kind of look around the place. I mean, it's a largely featureless area.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flat set of ground that has I don't even know what they're called. Those raised bumpers so that cars won't go too far forward. In the spot that they're occupying.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a bunch of like grass and dirt for the most part.
Right.
Then there's like the little booth that's got the stuff to pay for your ticket, and then you spot the camera that is up on essentially a telephone pole.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys are looking around this place, both Dan and Reiko, you realize as Jerome is pointing out where the van was, that the spot that it was in was specifically chosen because it would be out of sight of the camera that is watching the place. It is possible that if you were to get the footage, which I will straight up tell you, you can't access. None of you have the computer expertise required in order to do this. That you could spot the vehicle potentially, but then you would run into the problem of like, it would just be like a vehicle that kind of passed into and out of frame. And then, you would have to figure out, okay, which one did it? And beyond being able to narrow it down to a few choices that would be within the time frame needed for this, observation and kidnapping / body snatching, whatever, to have occurred, you're probably not going to be able to figure out which vehicle it was that just runs into the footage, even if you could access it. However, Reiko, with your 24 perception check, you see Betty kind of sniffing around that area while you guys are trying to look at the camera, and you do spot tire marks leading away from this area. And it seems as though Betty can kind of follow this, as she seems to have found her human scent.
Reiko will notify the group of this.
Well,
good. I think you can follow the scent there, Betty.
I put this. I think I've been here before.
How so?
I don't know. But I get a sense of, that thing where, that feeling when your human insists that they fed you, but then you still feel hungry, so then you come over to them again?
Yes.
Replace human with handler, and then the answer is yes.
Okay, so it's like that. I definitely did this before. Like, that I know that, but I still feel like I haven't done it.
Okay, well, show me what you did before but didn't.
She assumes full-on bloodhound mode, nose to the ground.
Right.
The like kind of almost more cartoonish paw movement as she follows along. Fortunately, as she is a spirit now, you don't have to worry about her, literally tracking a car into the road as she goes along.
Before we leave, Nick, Gideon will,
yes.
We'll look at the booth where they pay for the thing. Set down the box of energy drinks very carefully, and then head out.
It's gonna be some very confused beachgoers.
Yeah. They're welcome to them.
Hey, free drinks. Oh, these are awful.
Free
hey, they're free though. You can't complain about it.
They're free now. All right.
The energy drinks are totally trustworthy and not at all something to be a little bit concerned by.
It's going to be I imagine that the guy who runs that store is going to be confused later when he's, still trying to sell those things. And people are like, why would I want one of those? You can just get them for free outside.
Oh, no. We're several blocks away. Totally different.
Yes. So you guys follow Betty as she, just bloodhounds her way down the street You guys are probably, I'm guessing, sticking more to the sidewalks along the road and stuff, while she is just full on going directly along the path that the van would have took. And eventually you get to some more kind of crowded urban areas. It's honestly, it's a kind of place that you would see less people because, like, if you have a business here, then you have a business here. But it's the kind of businesses aren't typically the kind that you would get a lot of foot traffic from tourists or that kind of thing. They're more like warehouses, and what's a good example? Like offices for, like construction companies and that kind of thing. And the roads get way narrower and smaller, and eventually Betty kind of winds around a couple of corners. They're like literally to the point where you're literally like going down small alleyways that you think that a vehicle would probably have a bit of difficulty getting in between. And then she arrives at a door and keeps on going and just phases through the door and goes inside.
Ah. What sort of building is it?
Yeah, I assume Jerome is a good look at the building.
Old. Brick. Doesn't look like it's ever gotten any sort of treatment to be, a public display. You don't see any signs on the exterior of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the back wall of like a restaurant, but like on all four sides.
Interesting.
There's no window or anything, is there?
There is a window. There are small windows that, yes.
How small are the windows?
I'll pop inside using Misty Step again. And open the door for everybody.
The windows are like, foot-ish wide. So, yeah, you can definitely do that. You can phase inside and unlock it from the inside.
Yeah.
Bam.
All right. Well, yeah, I've got Mage Hand. I could also just open the door with Mage Hand.
Actually, you can't do that unless you have a certain thing.
What, just turn a knob and open it?
Yeah, like apparently, like you need to have a specific Arcane Trickster feature in order to be able to do certain things like that.
Does it have to do with like not being able to see it or something?
That's part of it, and part of it is just so that it's not as super powerful as it would be otherwise.
I mean,
we don't need a rogue.
I know the Arcane Trickster thing means you can like pick locks and pick pockets using Mage Hand. I didn't know, like, to do things like throw a lever or turn a knob required that.
I think the very, very basic mechanical stuff should be okay with Mage Hand, but the more complicated stuff definitely requires Arcane Trickster. I know that. But irrelevant.
I mean, yeah, it's relevant, yeah.
It's kind of relevant given that Dan already teleported inside.
Yeah.
All right. You are inside what kind of looks like a garage, not in the sense of like, oh, there's space for a vehicle in here and there's a big metal door or something, but in terms of like the floor seems to be identical to the floor outside. There's no tiling, no wood finish, no carpeting or anything like that.
Okay.
Anyone who is going into the room can do whatever type of perception, investigation, whatever check that you want as
all right.
You guys go
in. Yeah, I think Gideon will sort of sweep in and go into full investigation mode.
Okay. You guys get your magnifying glasses out.
Yep. Basically,
yeah. That's a 20 from Dantalion. 18 from Gideon.
It's like we're both good at this sort of thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Just to be clear, Jerome is being the owl he is, of course, sitting outside keeping watch in case these people that we know have killed somebody decide to show up.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no, they'll damage our existing body, our fake bodies. Terrible.
That's honestly not my actual concern.
All right. As you guys sweep into the room and start looking around, the first thing that you see is, how do I describe it for you two? You guys see what looks like a chair that is, it's actually more like a cross between a chair and a bench. It's got, the back and the curve for the arch of a spine, and then the pivot of the hips down to the legs and stuff, but is leaned a lot further back, and it's also a lot longer than a chair that you would think. Reiko, there's like a dentist chair basically in this room.
Oh dear.
Is what it looks like to you. What you guys additionally find with that is there's not really anything in the room at first glance. However, the more you look into it, the more you realize that is because there was stuff in it, and now there isn't.
Yep.
Someone has very, very thoroughly gone through this room, scrubbing away at it with bleach and cleaning agents. The smell of it is still fresh because it must have been done within the past day, maybe two. Despite that, you also see evidence of some of the activity that took place in here. Beside the bench chair thing, you find a small wet patch on the floor, which when you look closer into it, you get this kind of smell of some sort of I'm not sure how to describe it, actually. You guys can make a medicine check. Anyone who is looking at it can.
Not what I'm best at. Hey, whopping 12. Medicine really isn't Gideon's forte, shall we say?
All right. 12 from Gideon, 13 from Dantalion, 18 from Reiko. That'll definitely be sufficient. Reiko, as you look into this, you realize that from the smell and the placement of it beside the chair, that this probably came from like some sort of IV bag or some other thing like that would have been being fed into a person who was occupying the chair.
Right.
Yeah, okay. We're either dealing with organ leggers or they tortured him.
There is also within the room, Dantalion, you in particular spot this as you're kind of just looking around for anything. You find little notches, like very, very small, that you realize are kind of like the scrape of like metal on concrete. It's 3 small spots on the floor. It's closer to the door than where the bench is. It's like, if I can describe it, there's the door on, let's call it the southeastern corner. The chair is sitting in like the northwestern corner, and these scrapes are in the southwestern corner. And it's 3 small spots that are equidistant from each other, and they all scrape in the same shape. So it's like 3 like planes in formation going in the same direction, leaving equivalent, parallel jet streaks, but much, much shorter than that. It's, they're only like a couple of inches long.
Are they forming like a sort of a triangular shape, like they were legs on a stool or something?
Yes, like a stool. Yes,
But probably heavier if it's leaving marks in the concrete.
yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
The 3 marks like a stool. It drags like. I know Jerome's not in there, but I'm thinking of things that it could possibly be myself.
Yeah, sure.
My first thought is maybe it's like a rack for hanging like meat.
I'm thinking it's for a table or for a cooler or something.
Let me.
Like
Yes.
like a refrigerator, like one of those micro fridges.
Well, it definitely had to be big enough and heavy enough that they didn't just pick it up and move it.
Yeah.
I will also go ahead and tell you that the marks form edges, basically. Like if you were to draw, point to point to point on,
Yeah.
the far side, then each of those points would be about 2 feet from each other, from corner to corner.
Okay.
That's a pretty big thing.
It's roughly the size of an end table or maybe a coffee table.
Question: where's Betty?
Oh, she has gone straight to the table,
Yeah.
to the chair,
Mhm.
and she's kind of like curled up on top of it right now.
All right.
Are there straps in the chair?
No, not that you can see.
How strong is the bleach smell on the chair?
Incredibly.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay.
As you are poking around the chair, which I mean makes sense. It is primary feature of this room. Betty kind of turns her head to you and says, "I can't find him."
Yeah, I think this is where he ended.
That doesn't make sense though. He's not here.
Right.
These individuals seem to be quite intent on making certain that no one has a trail to follow. At least not by any means that they can perceive.
So stop me if I'm wrong, but Mr. Hernandez is perfect for organ legging. He lives alone with no real close ties. Doesn't really have large contact with his family. Doesn't have a girlfriend. No one's going to miss him for a while, but he's wealthy enough to be healthy and have a regular job.
I will also say, for not to confirm or deny anything, but in your experience getting into Italian, if someone were, straight up murdered and their body desecrated for organ harvesting, then that would definitely cause complications for their soul in the afterlife.
Absolutely.
Especially if that's some sort of burial rites associated with their beliefs.
Yes.
So it at least fits your theory.
That doesn't explain why he's gone, though, unless he tortured him, he died, went to Limbo, but then was then resuscitated. Is that a thing that happens with people that have near-death experiences?
Oh, give me What's the skill for this?
All
right, if
religion
you guys
would be
can
applicable?
Yeah, you guys can give me a religion check. Anyone can do that.
If Dan mentions it out loud, this is definitely
Yeah.
something
How
we need to
about
think
a
about.
Arcana?
I'm re-rolling this. Fuck that. Reiko knows more than this. There we go.
Any denizens of the afterlife, so everyone but Reiko, can instead roll a history if that is higher for you.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
Honestly, both religion and Arcana are the same for me. So
Jerome tries to pop in and check on everybody. He's been listening from outside.
Sure. Good. Someone rolled well. Multiple people rolled well. Actually, good. I did not. I'm distracted by something. I don't know what yet.
And lays down some apparently history like a stereotypical owl. Listen well, children.
Yeah. Jerome, you have been dealing with, with Maurice and had contacts with Central for some time. And you have definitely heard of some cases of people having, as was put, near-death experiences, where essentially they start to go into the afterlife and then they snap back to the physical world. However, in the case of Hernandez and all of these SNRs that are on Gideon and Italian's plates, you've never heard of a situation where someone gets all the way through their initial interview,
right,
and then goes back. This, the near-death experience thing tends to be someone may wander through limbo a little bit and start to go on the path where they will reach the afterlife. They might see the pearly gates or something like that. But that extent of time that that Alex Hernandez was in limbo doesn't match up. It would be unprecedented.
Okay.
It's possible, but it would be unprecedented.
Nick?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to sort of, Gideon's going to, at this point, after sort of thinking about all this, I want to look around the room again and see if I can find any sort of indication that something ritualistic might have happened here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that myself, and
yeah,
I did a good religion roll.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and you guys can keep your religion rolls if you like. You can also roll investigation.
I'm going to roll investigation in conjunction, but this is separate from the whole afterlife thing. This is a different thought process.
Yeah, you are looking for something in particular.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm just going to throw out that my investigation score is Garbo, so I will stick to the religion score.
14.
How about a
investigation? See if that helps any better. No. And that is not better.
How about an Arcana check? This was kind of, if we're looking for something supposedly magical.
I think that is a justified substitution. Yes.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. Should I roll that too?
I mean, you already did your roll.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, they're all +4s, so
Okay, so looks like the highest that we've got going for this situation is that Reiko got a 19 religion, Jerome got a 19 Arcana. With the caveat that you guys know that this place has been pretty thoroughly cleaned up, you don't see any evidence of any of the telltale signs of a rite or a ceremony taking place here. And again, this place is overwhelming with the smell of cleaning agents and stuff. So if some sort of incense or candles or whatever were set off, then that might be covering it up. If something was burned, then it would have been cleaned up. So, but you don't see any remnants of that here.
Okay. All right. The reason I'm thinking this is legitimately, while knowing how Alex died is important, unless something really weird is going on, I mean really weird, it shouldn't have that much impact on what happens to him once he gets to Limbo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's no signs of tampering with, the things that would tamper with the spirit after death here, there's not much more I think we can learn realistically. And this is our Gideon's thought process. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case.
Okay. I'm going to just...
But yeah, it's again, it's a
Mhm.
Gideon linear thinking chain going here.
Okay.
As far as Jerome's thinking, like the only thing he could possibly think of to do at this point would be like detect magic to see if there's any magical remnants.
Mhm.
Was Mr. Hernandez a practicing and devout Jew? Just
It
thinking,
didn't seem like it.
Okay, I was just thinking like
yeah,
I
that's-
know they've got things about like bodily integrity.
Yes.
If he was hacked up for bits, that would definitely mean he's upset.
Reiko.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys are discussing the potential for what happened here. You see Betty's head perk up and her ears kind of flop back. And she stares directly into the corner.
Well, I suppose Reiko will head over to that corner and have a look at it.
Okay.
Rico, dear, not by yourself. Jerome kind of like hops into the ground and is like doing that awkward owl walk.
Okay.
I'm still
Both
in the
you
same room as everyone else.
Awkward. Most owls walk more gracefully than I do.
Both of you guys give me a perception check. Both Reiko and Jerome specifically.
Ugh, I rolled
Perception.
1.
Oof.
Okay. You look around and you're trying to figure out what Betty is looking at. And because all you can tell is that there is just this empty corner of the room. And you're at this point, like trying to just kind of grasp at straws because there has been almost nothing left that is physical evidence that can assist you. And just as you... Go ahead.
How sturdy does this wall appear to be?
It's made of stone brick.
All right, well.
You reach your hand forward and start to, while thinking maybe, there's like some sort of structural weakness here, you start to kind of poke at it and kind of, knock at it to see if there's anything behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you touch the wall, a hand reaches through the wall and touches you.
I shake the hand.
Your hand touches that hand, and hang on a second. You take 2 necrotic damage.
That's quite the joy buzzer you've got there, friend. She'll just vocalize so everyone can hear her.
Gideon stalks over.
Yeah,
Coming through the wall is a being that looks vaguely humanoid.
Mhm.
It's got the kind of wisping away ghost tail to it. A face that resembles almost, it's got the right shape for, some sort of goat or, something with an elongated snout, but it's, instead of having a head or a skull, it has what looks like leaves forming a bulb. And something kind of dripping or slithering out of an opening at the front where these 3 kind of flaps or leaves form together into a cone. And it has arms, but they are almost like the segmented clawed legs of an insect.
Spooky.
Reiko will let go of the hand.
I want everyone
Mm-hmm.
to roll initiative.
Uh-huh. Fair enough.
Yeah,
We are not necessarily going to
Right,
go
no, I
into
get
combat.
Yep. I get you.
Can I
But-
put forth the idea that that Tan gets advantage after drinking all those energy drinks.
I forgot to slide.
I've already made that joke once. You can't do that. Should I made that joke already?
Well,
With the perception check. All right.
oops. Did I roll some bad? There. Okay. All right.
Shit, Jeff, you stole my money from the last time.
All right. Jerome, you get to act first. You have just seen this being come through the wall, and it had, when Reiko touched it, she was clearly harmed. You know, she had at the very least the touching a hot stove reaction to it.
All right, so the first thing Jerome is like, okay, he's like, everybody back off. We don't know what this is. And then he, he's still in his owl form, so he's very, like, awkwardly kind of looking at it. It's like, spirit, speak to us. Trying to get some kind of response out of this thing that has shown up.
Okay. Make a persuasion check for me.
Yes. One of my awful stats, of course.
Yep.
Well done.
That's a very good roll.
This is very good.
Make an insight check now. Actually, anyone can make an insight check for this bit before I describe what happens.
Insight? Not too bad.
20.
Okay.
I rolled my passive.
Yeah. So anyone who rolled a 15 or higher, you see the being as Jerome speaks to it, pivot its head towards him. Its maw, we'll call it, does part slightly, and more of this dripping, slithering substance inside of it kind of starts to drip out as it goes. It does not. It makes that sound after you speak, but you're not sure if it understood you. Gideon,
Yeah.
with your 20 insight,
Yep.
you realize that although it is reacting this way, it has not yet attacked you, and its body position is not yet in a place where it's, going to try and attack you.
Right.
It would have ambushed you if it wanted
Right,
to,
right, yeah.
although it does look worried.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to kind of raise its hackles and may go into fight or flight.
All right.
You can use you and you alone, Gideon,
Yep.
can
Stop
make
forest fires.
yes. It's your
Start forest
responsibility.
fires.
You and you alone can make another insight check for me.
Okay. Sure. All right. Inside again. 14 this time.
Okay. I'm gonna roll one more thing here.
I'm still rolling above average for this, so I'll take it.
You are. I'm gonna roll one more thing. Ooh, okay. That's all you get for
Okay.
right now. Okay. So you all get that. Next in the initiative order is Gideon.
Okay. All right. Gideon will take will basically raise both hands, sort of palm outward, sort of thing. Peace to you, being. We mean you no harm. Do you know what I am?
Are you just speaking this
Yes.
in common?
No, I'm not. I'm speaking in the tongue of the dead. So I guess actually, all things considered, I will try this in a couple of different languages. Actually, basically sort of the common language of Limbo, but also Abyssal, I think, or Infernal, but either or.
Okay, so you'll kind of cycle through
The various
killings,
languages of the afterlife.
trying to communicate with this
Yep.
thing. I'll just go ahead and say that everyone who has rolled 15 before,
Mhm.
you can also tell that this being seems to have no specific response to what Gideon is saying, other than the fact that it acknowledges that he is talking.
Okay, so it recognizes that I'm talking, but doesn't understand me. Or
Mm-hmm.
by the way, it's not responding.
It is not responding
Beyond
in any
like
way.
it's that thing is making noise. It's basically its response effectively.
Yes. Also, you make a persuasion check as you were talking to
Absolutely. 19.
It's a 19. All right. You can tell that this thing's starting to calm down a little. It is now this being's turn in initiative, and it is not taking aggressive actions towards you.
Good.
Its hackles are still kind of up
Right.
in a way that, like, don't mess with me.
Right.
You get that from its like body language, so to speak.
Right.
And let me roll one more thing over here. I can keep on hitting that thing instead. There we go. Okay. So that's where it'll go next. Okay, so on its turn, it is going to ready in action.
Okay.
That is all you can tell. That is
Sure.
So we've got Tan, then Reiko, then Dentalion. Anything that you guys want to do?
Say so.
Gideon seems to have an idea as to what's going on, but I'm going to move a little bit off to the corner.
So I'm going
off to the side, so that I've got a clear shot at it in case things turn to shit.
All right.
Skitch, I do think that you might be having a little bit of voice connection troubles.
I don't know if I am, if I'm not.
You are.
Yeah, you're distorted. You're distorted on our end.
Going all robo.
But internet is probably fluctuating.
That's what it likely is.
That sucks. Okay.
I'm not sure if that's not, but
Not really.
Well,
Yeah, it does seem.
can't do anything about.
Nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it.
All
Just
right.
Do what you can. Yeah.
Can you hear us? Okay.
I heard you find the entire team. So
Okay. Good.
well, let me check one other thing real quick before.
All right. I'll let you tackle that however you want to. I'm just so okay. All right. So Dentalion, you're kind of like just getting ready in case it decides to attack you.
Yeah.
Okay. Reiko.
I'm keeping. I don't want to be within arm's reach of it, like or an easy lunge.
Right.
But I'm ready to cover Gideon or anyone else in case it decides to be an asshole.
Okay. Reiko.
So this thing is something that the mortal realm very clearly does not see too often, but I'm imagining there's some mythology to whatever this thing is.
Okay.
So, considering that it seems to have some, association with death, I imagine Reiko probably has an idea of, reading about some kind of a thing or something or whatever in, one of the texts that, she's looked over at some point or another.
So you want to make a religion check.
Yeah, religion would probably be good. Basically, I'm trying to figure out what is this and what does it probably want.
Okay. We'll start with religion on that then.
19.
That's a good roll. From its physical appearance, you don't know what this thing is. From the way that it is acting, you can at least tell that this is some form of restless spirit. But in terms of like the quote unquote physical traits that it has with its mouth and its arms and stuff, you aren't sure if you've heard of something that is like this before.
I mean, my personal theory, it's a thought form created by popular unconsciousness. Because it kind of sounds like something from a popular show on Netflix. But
It does.
It's a tulpa?
Yes.
It sounds to me like something that Behavior lost the license for.
You guys are talking in tongues to me right now.
It sounds like the Demogorgon from Stranger
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah,
Oh, that's not actually. It's not actually a Demogorgon. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're not playing Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons.
The Demogorgon in Dungeons and Dragons an actual Dungeons and Dragons, a very different thing.
Yeah, it's a two-handed baboon monster with tentacles.
That is a demon, a
And
very
also
powerful
Demon
demon.
Prince.
Demon Prince, yes.
There's a reason I specified it as the one from Stranger Things in particular.
I know you did.
I know it's not that because there's not electrical horse shit and it's not screaming at us constantly.
That's fair.
Yeah, good
I've
point.
never watched this show, but I've fought that I've played against this thing.
I suppose it is possible that Reiko may have seen Stranger Things. But so maybe that does come to your mind. You don't know why that would be the case for this thing, though.
This is also entirely Eric's theory, not Dantalian's, because he has not seen Stranger Things. So
you've seen actual Stranger Things,
right? Yes, I've seen. I didn't need a Netflix account to see to see some of the shit I've seen.
In terms of what it wants, Reiko, because you did ask me that, I want you to give me an insight roll, please. That's a pretty good roll. You look around as you kind of see your companions starting to take different positions in the room. Jerome and Gideon approaching this thing cautiously, and you're kind of, I'm going to assume, make room for them. And so you're no longer like directly touching this thing. And so you look around and you happen to spot Betty looking directly at this being. And she looks curious. All right. Gideon, we're going to go back around to you in the turn order, and I will note that you now currently have Bardic Inspiration from Tan.
Okay.
For whatever action, to use on whatever action you want.
Sure. Give me a second. Let me take a look at something on my sheet.
Oh, shouldn't it be Jerome?
It should be Jerome. Jerome's before me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the turn order messed around. Yeah, that is correct. So Jerome goes next. This is why we normally have the initiative turn order. I was trying to be like, it's going to be a simple encounter. I don't have to do that. There's only one potential enemy here. Come on. Why do people have lists? Oh, man, if I were a surgeon, I would have cut off so many wrong limbs. Jeez.
All right, so what's Jerome is going to... can Jerome cast spells in this form?
Yes.
Okay. Then what Jerome is going to do is he's going to use his... what is this feature called? His awakened spell book feature that lets him cast a ritual spell as its non-ritual time. So he's going to cast Comprehend Languages as a ritual, but not using the plus 10 minutes, so he can do it as one action.
Okay.
So he's going to do that, and he's going to see if this helps with communication at all.
Let me take a look at what Comprehend Languages says. You understand the literal meaning of any spoken language you hear. You understand any written language. You must be touching. Doesn't decode. So this doesn't let you speak the language, according to this. You understand the meaning of spoken languages that you hear and understand every language that you see. So you can understand what this thing will be saying. It will not be able to understand you.
That is still helpful. That'll let us know if it's what its intents would be at the very least.
Okay.
So Jerome, after casting that, he's trying to communicate again. He's like, "Hey, what's wrong? Tell us what's going on."
You hear like gurgling, something between hissing and growling and dripping. And you understand that this entity is saying, "What? Say, don't know where, hurt, where," and that's about all you get.
Jerome communicates this, of course, to everybody else that this being is very confused and in pain.
Alex Hernandez?
Yeah,
Is that
I
you?
was about to go there myself.
Yeah, I was at that conclusion too.
The being lifts its head up, and Betty fully jumps off of the bench and trots over, and it fully like dog jumps onto the being and starts looking at its face. And at first, you get the sense that like it's going to kind of flinch or it's going to attack or start to do something, but then it slowly instead wraps a tendril around Betty, and before your eyes, its monstrous form starts to shrink and become more human. After a couple, about 30-ish seconds, the transformation fully fades.
Yep.
And you see the spectral body of Alex Hernandez with his arms wrapped around his dog.
Oh.
And then he falls and slumps off of her and is lying in a fetal position on the ground.
I'm gonna approach him. Hey, it's all right. It's all over now. Let's get you the help you need.
Alex Hernandez seems to be completely unconscious.
Uh-huh.
All right. I don't know if Rico necessarily realizes that she can do this, but she's going to just kind of head over and just, kneel down next to him and just kind of pass her hand over him, just kind of, just like in a reassuring manner. And I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
You, as you do this, you get a good look at Alex's spectral body. He looks, just like he did in a number of the pictures that you saw. He's wearing what you recognize to be just kind of a casual outfit that he seemed to prefer in a lot of the selfies and stuff that he took while hanging out with friends and the like.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that his shirt does seem to be kind of ragged. And you see what look like are almost bruises around his neck, some sort of cuts in his right arm. And let's see how I describe this. You in particular see what kind of looks like bile around his mouth and eyes. The markings start to fade, although you get what is left behind is kind of like when bodily fluid like dries, it leaves a kind of like film. That basically looks like it is left around his lips and around his eyes, around his tear ducts.
Basically, this dude looks like he was being embalmed while alive.
You as you're looking over him, you can tell that your cure wounds essentially does the equivalent of, patching him up physically, but he does not move or wake up. You can make a medicine check as you're doing this.
Okay.
This will be your first time doing medicine on, a soul, so you may be surprised by what you find. That's a 17. It basically seems like he is fully passed out and comatose. Which to you seems weird because, he's a spirit.
Like,
and
to me,
you didn't
like,
feel tired before.
Right. It's strange to Reiko because, like, her perception of, like, unconsciousness is, like, a solely physical thing. It's like, okay, you can become fatigued mentally, but that's not something that necessarily leads to unconsciousness or anything like that. So this is a little bit of a strange departure from the norm for her.
Mhm.
She's not questioning it too much, but it's just like, okay, gotta rewrite that mental rule.
Gideon and Dantalion, unquestionably, possibly Tan and Jerome as well, will have definitely seen this before.
Right.
Essentially, Alex Hernandez's spirit, for whatever reason, is like either not fully self-aware of its new state,
Right.
or it has experienced some form of trauma that
Yep.
it is not going to be self-aware for
Sometime.
at least a time.
Yeah. I'm suspecting it is the latter,
Yeah.
given that apparently he did at least make it into, like, processing.
Mhm.
So,
an idea, of course, as this doesn't seem very natural.
no.
Jerome could cast Identify on Alex and try to determine what kind of ritual or spell did this to him.
Okay.
Pulling out another fucking owl feather. Probably not a good idea when you're an actual owl.
All right, so you want to cast that spell?
Yeah, this will take 10 minutes to do, so he's going to be like doing Mojo for a bit if anybody else wants to do anything before that takes effect.
If I know you're doing that, Gideon will not. Gideon will be patient, which is one of the things he's actually good at.
Yeah, you guys can also make a choice here. I will point out that although Alex and Betty are in their special forms, and Betty is kind of like curled around her human right now, as you're kind of like poking and prodding and trying to figure out what's going on, you guys can stick around here, but you also know that Alex is in a spirit form.
Yeah, he needs to
and
get back.
should
He needs
not
to get
be in
back
the
to
physical
Limbo.
world for very long.
He should be. Yes.
We should.
I'm willing to wait for Jerome to finish this spell, but we really should.
We should scoop him up and get him back to
Yes.
Limbo.
So yes, Jerome, let me know when you're finished with that spell. We should head back to Limbo as soon as possible. We need to get him to someone who can treat his current condition, and we need to find out who did this to him.
Jerome has like the feather in his beak, and he's doing arcane things with his wings. He's like, he's like, hold on, I need to see how many licks it takes to get to the center of this Tootsie Pop.
Just imagining just a full-on bird having to make arcane motions.
Flap, 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 flap.
I think that's just a hummingbird.
By the by, Gideon has unconsciously dropped his disguise at the moment.
All right, you've got a full-on skull face.
Yes, Gideon
now.
is not happy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I give him this loner?
Given, the body.
Yes.
Ooh.
Like, if it buys us time, I can go without for a little bit.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I haven't thought about that.
I don't think he'd appreciate the body
Yeah.
any more than I am right now, for different
Yeah.
reasons, admittedly. But he might not actually notice by the time we get him back.
Give me a raw intelligence check. Jeez,
Nice roll. 19.
that's a very good roll. It will take a bit of doing, but you think that you could, put it on him. It'll be, essentially like, dressing someone who is unconscious, but also with a set of clothing that you're not sure, you're still not familiar with how you put them on yourself, but you could do it.
This is reminding me of putting on a wetsuit for the first time.
Now imagine putting it on someone else. Like,
No lube.
So you can get ready to do that, just in case. You can, I guess, we'll say that, like, you're getting set to remove your body without completely dissipating it, so that it can then be applied to someone else, which is not really the way that they're intended to be used, but you think you can do it.
Yeah, all I'm looking to do is buy time, not, do anything graceful.
So you're kind of working your way out of the physical body, while Jerome is performing the ritual for the spell. Okay, so you cast the ritual, Jerome.
All right.
So let me go over identify. You choose one object identified as a magic object, some other magic imbued object you its properties, whether it requires attunement to use. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. The item was created by a spell. You learn which spell created. If you instead touch a creature, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it. Okay. Make an Arcana check for me.
All right. This is a good roll for me. Although last time I did this, I got a bad one.
That's a 12.
Average.
That's above average. What you can determine is that, this is fully a spirit at this point. It is obviously fatigued and tired. You are able to determine that the condition that it is currently suffering under seems to not be because it has been magically inflicted with something. The condition is a matter of it. The soul has been put through a stressful situation. It has experienced a form of trauma, and it needs to recover from that trauma. The origin of that trauma does appear to be unnatural, but you're not able to tell exactly what it was.
I feel like it's probably pretty clear that there's a lot of, trauma as a result of shit went through.
Yeah, Jerome is
Even if he wasn't conscious for it, like, the body probably understood that things were happening, and so that's like leaving an impression upon him.
Yeah. To give you a comparison, Jerome, it's like, imagine if someone is covered in bile, and you cast identify on them. You would go, oh well, they feel very sick to their stomach and stuff, and the source of that was was some sort of unnatural force. You might then conclude from that, okay, well, maybe someone hit them with a ray of sickness. But the identify, because they're not currently under the condition of it, they're just in the after effects of it. You kind of have to make that leap of logic yourself, because that's just the limits of the spell that you're casting.
Yeah, he's just sort of like, something very bad has happened to this person. I can't determine the full details, but it was definitely not fully normal.
Right.
Someone here definitely did something that they shouldn't have been able to do.
Well, not necessarily here. His soul did make it to the to Limbo, intact, from what we can tell. I do not think that was a result of what happened here, as unpleasant and tragic as this was.
I want to make a Arcana check. Could this have been some sort of seance or spirit binding gone wrong?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like wondering. Like maybe his soul got dragged out by the events here.
Okay. Anyone who wants to do a check of any sort, just go ahead and do it. I'll see what I can tell you.
Well, I guess I'll do religion.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, you know what? You know what? Wyrod, can I have knowledge death from your character?
Yeah. We'll have to work it. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
For Reiko's predilections and stuff that she's obsessed with. Yeah, it makes sense. I guess if you want to do it for right now, we can do like intelligence plus proficiency.
Yeah,
Which I
that's
guess would be
basically
plus
what
3.
that is my religion score. So
Yeah, so we can say for religion for you that will encompass it.
Okay.
So even if something isn't necessarily religious in origin, if it has to do with mythos or the like about death, then it will be under that umbrella.
Okay. Oh, so I rolled
Alright.
another 19.
Yes. I rolled 22.
You guys all rolled incredibly good.
Yeah,
on that.
got my ass a 23 over there.
Yeah, the lowest natural roll there was an 11. Okay. So on the Arcana side of things, from Jerome and Dentalian's perspective, if I'm going to say that Dentalian in particular, you know about this.
Right.
You understand that if, say, a mortal were to try and evoke the spirit of someone who has passed on and didn't do it properly, then it could subject them to the kind of trauma that Alex has apparently experienced, in terms of they are in a place where their spirit is at least stable and they get yanked out of that in order to answer the call of someone evoking them. In terms of what exactly would have been, there's a couple of different ways that you could go about doing that incorrectly that could have that effect. But it's not dissimilar to what has happened here.
All right. So it looks like someone fucked up a summoning. Gotcha.
Now, the one issue that you have with that is that you know that Alex was very recently deceased, so it's still very odd if someone tried to invoke him. Maybe someone was trying to call someone else, and Alex's spirit as like a nearby thing got affected instead. But that's you just like spitballing and just like reaching for like how that theory could fit what evidence you have in front of you.
Gotcha.
Religion. I think I'm going to need a minute to think about how to answer that. So if you'll give me a minute, because I got to get water too.
Sure.
So we can take a quick break here.
Sure.
And we'll back to that.
Absolutely. No problem.
A lot of really cool stuff happening today. Like, I'm really liking what's been going on.
Yeah, I finally got to break out, things that aren't just skill checks or, basically without something that's not just an ability check in some form. And I imagine Reiko's going to have some questions about what the fuck she just did once we get out of here.
Nothing important. Don't worry about it. Everyone sort of does that stuff eventually.
Shut up. I want to have a scene.
Welcome to being dead.
That's going to be Dentalian's like explanation. Everyone does that kind of shit eventually. Don't worry about it.
Dentalian's gonna give her a book for the recently deceased, and then but he's gonna pull it off of like Jerome's desk because it's like his personal copy. Yeah, read this. Let's talk about the whole being dead thing. That is definitely kind of what I imagine Jerome's living situation's kind of like in his apartment building. It's literally just like Beetlejuice levels of messed up people living there.
Hmm.
Let's see what's here. Yeah, I was prepared for Alex here to just basically smack Jerome and have his little
Yeah.
tiny owl body just go limp. But I'm like, okay, I don't know what's supposed to happen here now, but I know owls only have 1 HP. Like,
Wow.
what is this bad? When that happens, do you pop out of the body, or do you go back to the pearly gates, as it were?
Hmm.
Jerome, weren't you supposed to be on a job? Yeah, I flew into a power line.
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So in terms of the religious side of this question of what could have happened here, you guys are both aware of situations, either according to myth or due to personal experience, of someone is left in the physical world as a vengeful spirit. For example, like Reiko, you in particular would know of like legends of like the Onryo that
Absolutely.
come back from the dead, from the afterlife, and haunt the physical world because something was done to them during their lifetime.
Mhm.
There are
It's like a lot of it's like a lot of ghost stories and myths in Japanese culture are really pissed off dead women or for some reason.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot of different stories like that through different myths, in like Western terms as well, like a poltergeist that haunts a place because they were murdered in it, for example. It could be something like that. The really only issue Gideon, that you have with that is that you weren't really familiar with the form that Alex's spirit took
Right.
when
It's
he manifested.
which is rare.
Yeah, you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of different situations, so something new happening is perturbing to you.
Yes, very. Different. No. This different, especially in this category, things is very concerning. Honestly.
Mr. CJ, oh hell, not the shit again.
Right. Well. Hmm.
So you guys ponder those different things. Jerome, you have cast the Identify. Reiko, you have managed to work your spiritual form out of the temporary physical body that you were using, and you guys can put Alex's body into it to just make sure that something bad doesn't happen to him again, especially while it's currently in its weakened state. But of course, you will then be looking around a body, so you should probably still get him back to Limbo.
Yes. No.
Yeah,
That is.
let's get his ass back to Limbo where he
Yeah,
belongs.
here's the thing. We walked here. We don't have a car.
No, we don't have to. We can just go back to Limbo from here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. I was thinking, do we need to march his body back to the gate to Limbo?
Gideon is a full-on Reaper,
Yeah.
so it will not be a problem for him.
Right. Good thinking, Reiko. That's actually very clever. Huh.
Looks really uncomfortable for both of you.
Yes. But Still
Alex
very
just-
clever.
Thank you.
Right. We should, nonetheless, while that will buy some time, we should probably head back to Limbo as soon as possible. So I assume I can certainly open a gate there to the afterlife or something along those lines.
Essentially, yes. You can do essentially what you do whenever you would normally escort,
Right.
you know, a recently passed person to the back. Into
All
the
right, I have an idea for a visual for it. If you're cool with that.
I'm open to it.
All right, my idea is manifesting the scythe and basically sort of slitting open a passageway to step through.
Sure.
All right, I do so,
Okay.
and I sort of gesture everybody to head through.
All right. So you are all heading back.
And I
into
will
Limbo then.
assist with carrying Alex.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get the head, I get the legs.
And then, yes, and I will say, Betty, you should probably come along with us.
Oh, she is like, you have difficulty convincing her to not be fully on top of Alex's body while you're carrying it through, but she trots alongside.
Thank you. Thank you, Betty.
All right. So you are all heading through the portal then?
Yes.
All right.
we
You
got
make
what
your
we came for. I mean,
It-
it's
you make your way back into Limbo. You've got Alex in tow. Where are you going?
All right, Nick, can I think of somewhere where we could take Alex to get him some treatment for the obvious psychological trauma he's gone through?
yeah.
Your main instinct in this situation is to, at this point, treat him as someone who is, how do I put this? Someone who needs attention in the afterlife.
Yes.
And in that degree, that would be someone who is in Robert's department.
Excellent.
Because Robert's department specializes in getting people acclimated to their new place
Right.
in the afterlife, or getting them prepared for them to head into their eventual
Wait a minute,
destination.
Robert, my caseworker.
Yes.
I just found out I have a thing I got to do.
Okay.
Really? What is it?
Fuck. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
I
good.
mean, your session's tomorrow, so you know.
Yeah. We're going to Robert's department. You don't have to interact with Robert unless he happens to wander by and say something. And I'm sure that won't happen. At any rate, we should.
Anyway, I can take off this stupid Magnum PI costume.
You were looking like someone in particular then. Did not know that.
No, I just grabbed the one marked Magnum PI because it sounded cool.
I see.
But yeah,
Road-
those shorts is just they ride up. They're too too small and tight.
I will have
Bro
to take your
pops
word
out of
for
his
that.
owl body and he just picks it up very carefully.
At any rate, we should get Mr. Hernandez to where he needs to go, and then we should make sure Betty gets back to the farm. But you can
All
tag
right.
along for now, Betty.
Good. I don't want to leave him.
I understand.
Good plan. He'll be thankful to have someone he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Jerome kind of like Churchill said, animals are quite good at helping beings overcome trauma. Maybe we could bring that up with Robert, and Betty could help in Alex's recovery.
I'll help.
That will have that I will defer to the people there. This is not my area of expertise, shall we say? Anyways, we should get there now.
Okay. You head into what is, essentially the central hub, although a different section than we've been in before. And this area that you go into, it's a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not necessarily better organized, but it's a little bit more empty and cleaner to a degree. It's not, instead of like a bunch of people all having to come in and go out, that have no idea where they're supposed to be. This is for, people who like understand where they're supposed to be going. So there's a lot less of a central hub area with a lot of different desks, and there's more just like you go down, you go to a central reception area, and then they send you down the right hallway where there are a bunch of closed doors for you to go into. So you head up to the main reception desk. There is a woman who has scales coming down her head that look kind of like hair, but they're like scales, and she has those kind of like slitted eyes, somewhere between a cat and a snake. And she looks up as you approach with an unconscious body basically in tow. And she goes, "Oh, you need us to take that, don't you?"
Yes.
Yeah.
The soul this is Mr. Alex Hernandez, who's one of the SNRs, who's one of the souls who recently disappeared.
Oh,
He apparently has gone through some sort of trauma and needs assistance.
right.
This is
okay.
Betty. This is his former companion. And she is very devoted to him and might be.
She's a
help.
dog.
Yes.
She's a dog.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is very unusual.
Yes, it is.
Everything about this is unusual.
Jerome's like, "What's so unusual about the animals we got here?" He kind of just, puffs up like an owl.
Okay, so we're going to definitely need some sort of recovery expert or therapist or something for this.
Yes.
Okay,
that sounds logical.
she gets on Afterlife pager system thing and starts hitting buttons on it. She has one of those kind of receptionist phone things. And she's like, he's like, there's a guy in a coma here. Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, you know what to do with it? Okay, fine, good. What do you mean attitude? No, I'm telling you, this guy. Can you just come here? Can you please come here? Thank you. Okay. All right. There should be someone here very shortly.
Excellent.
From being around this woman for a while, you can kind of tell that she's not as like used to this kind of stuff as everyone from like Central that you're used to interacting with.
Yes.
Right.
Central, like everyone kind of just does the same job for hundreds of years, and so nothing is like too big a surprise for them. You actually anyone here can give me an insight check?
Sure. Why not?
She's new. I'm guessing she's new.
Oh, you know that definitely.
Jerome fails.
Yeah, 13 average.
Yeah, with a 13, Gideon, you actually figured that this might be someone who is kind of in Dentalian's position,
Right.
Who is working this job in order to make up for stuff she did in life. Oh, Reiko. Yeah, so 23. Like you psychically sense the like anklet that she's wearing under the desk. And so this is one of those things where it's like she's making the best out of a weird situation, and she's very much not used to it.
Mhm.
So
Fair.
So, not too unlike myself, although not as cheerful about it.
essentially, yeah. And she's probably also been around. She's definitely been around longer than you have, because you've been here for like 2 days. So
Sure.
not too long after, you get a couple of guys who look like they're wearing like hospital smocks, who have a full blown like stretcher. They take Alex off your hands, load him onto it. One of them has a small leash for Betty to take with them.
Oh, good.
And they head down the hall to take him essentially into what is basically a hospital room. It's really more for observation than anything else.
Okay.
Basically, they'd let him rest up till he wakes back up, and then the therapist go to work.
Mm-hmm. Like the guys that come by in order to do this, they take one look at the guy, come to the understanding that, okay, he's not going to actually be able to respond to us, and there's nothing we can do. Probably they'll do some tests and stuff, but they're going to hold him until he is ready for questioning, for whatever else that they need to do. The girl who is at the desk, Kyra, she scribbles something down, and she calls one of you over to hand you a piece of paper.
I will sort of walk over.
Yeah. All right, you're Reaper Gideon. Okay. Sure. So here, and you recognize, because you've seen probably thousands of the card that she's given you. It's like a typical. It's one of those business notepad things that has the contact information and logo of the business up in the corner,
right.
But it just says Recovery Bureau,
right?
And with the kind of information on it. But she's also scribbled down like Alex Hernandez, a room number, name of the person that is going to be directly overseeing him.
Excellent.
And everything, so that you have the kind of information to check up on this.
Yep.
And we'll also we'll try and get in touch with you if there's been any update then.
Excellent. I will, of course, write up a summation of what we do know, and we'll send that along shortly in case that might be of use. Also, if you need to reach me, I will pull out basically a business card equivalent. Okay. This is my office number.
Yeah,
I'm probably on file, but
we have you in. Have you moved in the last 200 years?
I'll just stare at her.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Let us know when he's ready to answer some questions, because there are a bunch we need to ask.
Yes.
Regarding.
Let us know when.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, given that he disappeared before, it would be probably wise to make sure that someone keeps tabs on him.
I mean, he disappeared before.
I mean, he was apparently sent from Central to my office and disappeared in between there. He never arrived. And then we found him in the immortal world. I will. There'll be full details in my report when I send it to you all.
So he was here.
Yes.
And then he went back to the physical world, and you had to bring him back.
Yeah. Honestly,
went implies that it might have been. I do not think it was voluntary.
Looks like it might have been a botched summoning. We have no idea. We still have a lot of questions we need to ask him.
Okay. Well, obviously I have no clue how that would happen. But that makes sense why he is the way that he is.
Yeah.
At least. Okay.
As I said, I will write up a report and send it along to
okay.
To whomever's in charge.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much. What was the character? What was her name again?
Kyra.
Thank you very much, Kyra. I do appreciate your help.
You're welcome.
After all the formalities are done with, Reiko will just kind of sigh over and go, "New to?"
I've been here for about, I mean, I've been at the desk for about 5 months, but I've been, here. Like so my overseer decided I was ready for like my next step and stuff after about 10 years of, consultation and him refusing to just like let me go anywhere. So I'm here, but I'm being a contributing member of society again, which I guess is going to be helpful to me.
Reiko just kind of like hears all of that and then just cheerfully says, "I arrived here 2 days ago."
Oh. Wait, you just. So you're just. You can just like. She like looks. She looks over you, and you can kind of tell that she is essentially looking for the equivalent of like an anklet on you. So you're just like you can just. You lucky bitch. All right.
I'm working for him. She's just pointing at Gideon when Gideon's like over there doing something else.
Work with the Reaper.
Not as much fun as it sounds like.
His office is so outdated. It's honestly kind of funny.
My God. And none of these people had ever heard of MySpace by the time I got here. Can you believe that?
Oh boy. I've heard about that. I've never used one because that's been, well, is it mean of me to say that's been dead around as long as you have?
So what do people do now?
Oh, a bunch of other things. The latest social media site is dying last I checked.
Oh, okay. How do you wait if MySpace is gone, how do you find cool bands?
You don't.
I like to imagine that's like the one thing Dantalion actually keeps tabs on.
He's up to date on music, you know.
You don't. I mean, the closest thing you got is Spotify, but it's kind of garbage.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Right. Do you guys like want to hang out later? Like, I mean, I get off at like.
Yeah, I'm down.
Oh,
I mean, we've got this whole mess to deal with. I don't know if he'll be available, but yeah. Assuming...
Does Reiko's apartment have a phone installed?
Ooh, that's a good question. We'll have to come back to that. Both of you, by the way, can make an insight check. Perfect. 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 Reiko, Kyra is mostly interested in hanging out with Dentalion. Like you're cool and all, but she wants to hang out with him.
Reiko is going to understand the situation.
Your voice is so dark and spookifying.
Reiko's going to understand this situation because Reiko will understand the situation because she's been in this very recently, as it turns out.
If you had caught on to that a little bit faster, then maybe you would be here.
No, I let that happen.
You did let it happen, yes.
And I don't necessarily regret that part either. So Reiko will kind of read the room and we'll say like, oh yeah, like I think he's got something on like Thursday or something, but after that I think he's open. We could probably do something there.
I don't know if you do know about that because you were there earlier today. Yeah, you know about that, and you also know about the get together that the other Reapers are throwing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you don't say. Cool. Yeah, I get. I'm here. I work like every day. I get off like once a month, so you know. It's, but you know, if I'm not working here, then what am I going to do? Because there's
not a lot.
There's no internet, which is great.
Wait, have you ever been to the where is Tanalon from?
Oh, the Fulcrum.
Oh, you should check out the Fulcrum at some point.
Yeah, there's a couple of cool people that are there.
Yeah. Listen, there's always someone there trying some new music or dance thing going on, so it's worth checking out.
Yeah, they keep a lot of their music's very just like, you know, it's they're great. They're great. I'm I'm not being judgmental because my therapist, my overseer, whatever you want to call him, says that I need to get past that. So, yeah, no judgment, no judgment.
No
They
judgment,
tend to
just
be
not your
pretty
thing.
pretty
You guys should go.
All right. Take care.
Jerome's just watching all this, shaking his head, like, what the fuck?
Reiko's just going to kind of like stroll away. It's just like, so you interested?
Oh my god, why did I say that?
Interested in what?
Oh,
I rolled a
nothing.
6.
Yeah.
You rolled a 6.
So it's like, oh, nothing.
Right, I should go write that report. Ugh.
Jerome, you look over your shoulder. This woman's got like her face in her hand, just going like, "Why the fuck did I just explode at them?" So,
Poor bastard.
Reiko is just going to be he's like mentally trying to get these two together now.
all right, we've got a little bit more time for today. So before we wrap, we're gonna kind of like accelerate through the day, and I just want to kind of like check in with you guys on what you're trying to do in the aftermath of this investigation.
Well, the first thing Gideon's going to do is pull out his ancient ass typewriter and type up the report. But
Sure.
While he is typing up his ancient ass report,
also,
right.
I'm certain Gideon Hunt and Peck's at incredible speed.
Reiko is going to observe this with fascination as she's actually a competent typist, and she's like, on the one hand, this is an affront to my senses. On the other hand, the speed is impressive. I can't argue with the results, but the means infuriate me.
Just the single finger on each hand pointing out. Tack, 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 tack.
She's
Makes an infuriating noise.
Yeah, while she's like over there on her own computer, she's like just seeing that and taking it as a personal challenge. So it's like she's just like typing, like quote unquote proper, not like home rows, but using utilizing everything, all of her resources, as it were, and just being like, I will not lose to that. And while she's doing that, so. Gideon, I have a question.
Yes.
When we were finding Mr. Hernandez back there,
Mm-hmm.
I did something strange, and I don't quite know what to make of it.
Pause. Oh.
When I put my hand on him, I felt something, not from him, from me.
Interesting.
Is that common?
Okay, I don't know this. What is Gideon? Would Gideon say it's common or not?
So once a spirit leaves its physical body, it is no longer subject to the limitations of what is physically possible.
Right.
So you do know that just as people's spirits can take different forms, just according to the force of the will, that people can spiritually do stuff that they were not physically capable of in life.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a little bit unusual that Reiko has started manifesting them this quickly along.
Right.
But, like she's pretty quickly embraced the concept of like I'm dead and I'm in the underworld. So maybe she doesn't have the same limitations that would hold someone back from manifesting.
Right. Gideon will swivel his chair, start to look over at her. Well, the speed at which you've acclimated to being a spirit is a little unusual, but not outside the realms of possibility, obviously. But yes, many souls do change when they change, develop new abilities, change forms when they transition from being a living being to being a soul.
Jerome's just sitting there drinking coffee. As the camera pans to him as Gideon talks about that.
Yeah. And it sounds like you have discovered some latent abilities that will be manifested to tie into who and what your soul is and what will be.
Reiko ponders this for a moment. Opens her mouth as if she's about to say something, and then realizes that Gideon almost certainly would have no fucking idea what she's talking about.
Probably not.
Closes her mouth again, and thinks on it. Yeah, she has no idea how the hell she would explain. It's like, oh, does that mean that everyone is actually trans to Gideon, and have him make sense of it?
You might be surprised.
Would not be surprised if Gideon is like completely familiar with the concept, but like not in any kind of modern sense.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yes, that's actually yes.
Yeah, like
that is a
he's not going to
very
understand
accurate
the termage.
assessment.
Yeah, he's not going to understand the termage, and she doesn't know how to convey that.
Right.
In the moment.
Like it's an old. Like it's been part of being. Yeah, it's old. Like of course, Gideon's like we can familiar with the concept, but like
it's like
the terminology be completely beyond him. Yes.
Yeah.
It's something that exists outside of
Right.
human history, so of course it's going to be present, but the term is just going to be very different as well as the comprehension around it.
Yeah. The vernacular surrounding it has only really risen to popular usage in very, very recent history in Gideon terms.
Yes, in Gideon terms, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, Gideon will go back, finish the report, pull out his inkwell and quill, and sign it.
I don't know. I think that he might get it if you just. Oh, never mind.
Now to send it on the carrier pigeon.
No. That goes in the pneumatic tubes. We've established them.
Yeah.
Roll it up.
Then
the tube.
carried by
It just goes up to a carrier pigeon on the roof.
I mean, you could do that, but the pneumatic tube's right there. I imagine we used to use carrier pigeons, or equivalent.
Oh yeah, you've gone through some very weird things.
Oh yeah, I'm willing to bet you.
It was very hard to tie the message to the skeleton pigeons we had to use.
Yeah,
before.
that was very inefficient. It took some getting used to, but I have to admit these tube things are much more efficient than pigeons were.
All right.
Foomp.
All right, you send out your report.
I love the noise those things make.
It is a good noise, I do have to say.
All right, it was afternoon when you guys set off for Miami, and you guys were poking around looking into stuff for at least a couple of hours.
Yes.
So it's getting to be, early evening-ish, but probably, nighttime by the time that you guys are finished doing all that stuff. Getting back, getting Alex checked in, getting back to your office, and getting the report written out.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless anyone else wants to do something in particular, I want us to kind of fast forward into the next day.
Absolutely.
All right.
Reiko wakes up. Yoru is sleeping on her chest.
Wow.
It's like, well, I'm trapped. I can't get up.
Okay. Yep. So you guys wake up in your various homes. The only thing that any of you has scheduled for today is going to be Dentalion. If anyone else wants, if anyone else wants to do anything in particular, do let me know.
The one thing Gideon will want to do is he will want to go, given what happened with Alex, Gideon is going to go and do some research on summoning rituals and such to see if he can find anything that, and potential things that might have gone wrong, to see if he can find anything that might indicate what's going on there. Because, as I said, someone has interfered with the process, and Gideon is not happy.
Yeah.
So, and there's not much else he can do right now beyond research. Or
if Gideon is going to want an assistant for that, Reiko will be in for doing so after Yoru gets off.
If you, I think Gideon's going to the library. If you want to tag along, you are more than welcome to come along.
Another option is Jerome could take Rico out, and
That's fine. Also,
they
yes.
could do some experimentation to see what kind of abilities she's developed.
That does admittedly sound like a really cool option. I mean, on the one hand, research, like ancient death rituals. On the other hand, I can use magic. These are both really cool options, and Reiko is just thrilled.
There's just not enough time in the afterlife to do everything you want, apparently.
No, there's plenty of time. Unlike Gideon, I'm impatient.
I am also actually going to do some research into various spirit summonings and bindings that could go that wrong. If that's
Okay, this in particular is going to be a subject that I'm going to need a little bit of time to get
That's
back
totally
to you on.
fair.
Okay,
Since we're getting to the end, we're approaching the end of this session. Then I'll make sure to get that prepared on my end and let you guys know what you find out.
That's fair.
Next time.
Thumbs up.
What we can handle right now. Okay, so Jerome, you're doing you wanted to do some stuff with Reiko. Reiko, do you want to go along with that? Do you want to do the research?
Developing magic power sounds more immediately useful.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw, we'll call it, and you can have advantage because Jerome is helping you to look into your abilities. And I think that although your abilities as a cleric are different from his as a wizard, he's got some assistance. He's got some guidance he can give you as a spellcaster.
I'm not certain I need advantage.
Roll it again, just in case you roll a nat 20.
Okay. I was just waiting for a reaction. I was not certain if you actually saw the roll.
Yeah, you got a 23. There's
the 19.
23 is your best roll so far. What all have you not got? I've given you your.
I got a 24 earlier.
What have I not given you before so far? You've got your first level spells, and you've got your channel divinity. Correct. Let's see. Okay. How do I want to do this? All right. So so Jerome and Reiko, you guys meet up, and you start looking into what Reiko is capable of, and with time, you are able to guide Reiko on like, okay, no, this is the kind of feeling you should be trying to evoke in order to have your ability specifically manifest. You're not sure, of course, what ability she's going to have once they manifest, so it's a little bit tricky for you. But by guiding her through the basics, she starts to, do basic things like, energy begins to come out of her hands, and that kind of thing. Some of the stuff early on that happens is she is able to just, cast basic light, repair things that are broken, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
do some poltergeisty stuff of my own.
Yes.
Jerome, I think the poltergeisty stuff is probably the best things that Jerome's able to pull out. He's like, no, you gotta get angrier. You gotta get these people out. You want these people out of your life. And he's just like, you just kind of hear him go like, ugh. He just like points at something and it just goes flying across the room.
Reiko just like slams the door from over there.
Like, yeah, let it out.
Jerome's getting bizarrely pumped up. This 4-foot tall owl man stomping around like, fuck them all!
The funny thing is I'm kind of struggling at the idea of like Reiko manifesting, negative feelings to do these things. I think she's just genuinely so excited, like the idea of like, I can smash this door from over here, slam.
Jerome's literally like, look, think of something you hate. It's like, I imagine it was like people who hit puppies or something. It's like, okay, we'll work with that. Let's go full on Beetlejuice.
People who don't understand my supernatural fan theories.
Ooh. Just a room explodes from that one.
Let's see here. What is that? Where is this thing in your... Where is this thing? Hang on a second. I got to look through your class features list real quick here.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it and see what the actual wording is.
You talk about the tone thing?
Yes, I am.
That is not going to be in my class features. That was part of my background, and I hodgepodged that in, so you're not going to find it on the sheet proper.
Oh, okay. You hodgepodged it?
It's from a homebrew background that at the time I did not have homebrew access and whatnot because Skitch hadn't imported it in yet, and I was just like, whatever, I don't need that, and let me just put in the shit that it has.
You know,
but yeah,
what
like the thing exists
called?
it's in my inventory, Book of Forbidden Knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, as you go about, manifesting your abilities and stuff, eventually you, for practice, try to cast a bit more advanced stuff. And as you are doing what eventually ends up manifesting as a ceremony spell casting, and as you do this, with a wash of purple flames, a tome appears in your free hand.
Rika will just kind of like stop what she's doing and then just kind of like look at the book that is materialized in her hand. She'll turn it over, examine, kind of like look at it from multiple angles, tilting her head this way and that. And she'll look at Jerome. Is that supposed to happen?
Oddly enough, because Jerome is a lot of his abilities are focused around having a semi-sentient spell book. He's kind of like, it is for me, but I don't know about anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got your own spell book essentially, so yeah.
He's got his own weird little spell book. His isn't on fire, but
well, it manifests in a wash of flames. It's not on fire once it appears.
Rika will check the inner cover to see if there's a library card.
The ISBN is 6473952441. Looks like it was last checked out by a Mr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Oh, sorry, Froderick. Froderick Frankenstein. So yeah, you got this somewhat creepy looking black tome now.
Okay, so it's a black tome. Does like the cover look particularly imposing? Is it made out of anything unpleasant?
It's got kind of swirling patterns on it that you kind of have difficulty kind of holding down as you gaze at them.
I think the cover's moving. Is that bad?
Jerome's looking at the book. Probably.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Rika will open it and like start to read it.
What kind of stuff are you looking for?
What's in there? She don't know. Like, what's page 1 say?
As you go through the book, you specifically like, all right, what's page 1 say? And you just see text on the page that says, page 1 says this.
Is this a joke book?
No.
I have a book that is giving me lip.
I'm not giving you lip. I'm answering your questions.
You can do both.
I suppose I can, but I don't really have a sense of humor. I'm a book.
Try feeding it pudding.
I don't have any right now.
I've been watching Star vs. the Forces of Evil, so...
I see. Okay. Well, what do I call you, and to what do I owe the pleasure of your sudden company?
I am the Libra de Mikuyose.
All right, Libra, gotcha.
Jerome is just kind of like got his own book out. He's popped out a quill. He's taking notes.
I am here due to... Okay, hang on. So let me try and just put this... Hang on. However, in answer to your second question, and the page that you're on flips, and several pages kind of fly by, and the page that you hit on comes to a definition for the term physical embodiment of internal abilities. And it goes through this definition, this very encyclopedic definition that says when certain abilities associated with a person are manifested, they take the form of an external physical entity rather than dwelling within the side of the physical manifestation of that person's soul. It goes into greater detail from there. And essentially, as you go through it a couple of times, you basically come to the conclusion that this thing is not an individual item. It is an extension of your abilities.
So then you are an extension of myself in some respect.
It flips back to the first page and goes, yes.
Aha, I knew you had a sense of humor.
I do not have a sense of humor. I am a book.
You're a very funny book.
It kind of flips to another page and starts. You see like a hand, kind of like text starting to appear, almost as if a hand is writing it and then erasing it, and then it flips back to, the first page and says, "I will take this as a compliment. However, as I am an extension of yourself, then you should treat it as a compliment towards yourself."
This is the best book.
It flips back and starts writing something and erases it and comes back. It says, again, you should treat this as a compliment towards yourself.
Oh dear.
Strome's like, okay, I could psychoanalyze this all day.
I think the conclusion that Jerome's going to land on is Reiko is ridiculously positive.
It's like, but you know what? I'm just going to say it. Stop patting yourself on the back.
I'm not. I'm patting myself in the book.
If
I imagine the book says yes. That's what I'm doing.
It's just the word correct.
Yes,
correct.
Correct. Of course. Oh dear.
Well,
all right.
Interesting development, at least.
This is a weird treatment of a class feature that Reiko has.
Yeah.
That was Word's idea. So
cool.
We're running with it. So.
Yep.
So that is how your
Reiko
conversation.
is going to start making jokes to Jerome about getting checked out, and then we can change the scene.
You start to say that, and the book starts to go, "I am not part of this library. Again, I am an extension of your abilities." And it just no respect for when you're telling jokes at all whatsoever.
No, this is perfect. I have a straight book.
As a book, I have no gender preference or sense of humor.
Jerome's like, well, if this book is being checked out, I would say it is overdue.
All right.
Flips his collar up.
Yeah. All right. So you've got your book now. You've got Libra. And we're going to cut from there to where are you now, Dantalion?
I'm in the library looking up various summoning rituals and spirit bindings, and
You're totally not
not
avoiding your
looking
need.
at the clock.
All right. Hang on. Let me just do a quick thing here. Okay. You're going through a section on that. There are a section, one of the various sections that deal with this topic, because I mean, obviously, for where you are, there are going to be a ton of different materials that cover this subject.
Okay.
And as you're browsing through, occasionally being much more pointed with how you're going through the shelves and telling yourself, like, I'm doing my job. I'm looking.
I am not at all distracting myself from further responsibilities, and I can't be blamed if I get caught up in my work.
Eventually, you hear behind you. So you had a chance to read "Girl with the Dragon Tattoo."
I have not, no.
Okay.
Unless it is, in fact, a girl with a dragon tattoo that I have talked with. There have been several.
No, it's a novel. You know, no, you might like it. How are you doing, Dan? It's Robert.
Hi, Robert. How's it going?
Oh, you know, just going about my day.
That's good. Yeah.
Are you looking at him?
Yeah. I'll turn and look with my arm full of books that I'm clearly carrying and are important.
Yeah. Oh, you need some help with those?
No, I got it. Just a case
Alright,
that me and Gideon are working on.
Oh, I'm glad to see you're going at it.
Yeah.
Robert is mostly humanoid, but has some of the physical characteristics of a satyr or faunus. He has hooves instead of feet, although his legs beneath his trousers appear to bend as if they were humanoid legs. He is wearing a very business dress kind of attire. You know, he's got a buttoned shirt underneath a very comfortable looking gray blazer. And he has ashen skin and a pair of horns that begin in the center of his brow, sweep back along and across his forehead, and then back along the sides of his head before curling directly behind his ears. And he has a pair of lenses extending directly from his horns as if they're a pair of glasses.
Gotcha.
He also has, you know, like a faunus kind of goatee, but it's kept very trim and neat, unlike, you know, the kind of very shaggy, long one that you would normally associate with that.
Right.
So I was just looking at my clock and saw that you were 10 minutes late. And
is it that time already? I got so caught up in my research.
Yeah, it's I can see that. So we'll go. We can get these checked out. I think, but I think that we should start our session.
Yeah.
Before we run out of
time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I'm stuck. Okay.
Were you trying to avoid it?
No, not at all. No, that would be wrong.
Well, I mean, you know, I guess you could say that. All right, let's here. And he, you know, like kind of walks with you towards, like, you know, the checkout desk or towards like a table to sit at. I mean, we could just do it here. I think it's fine, unless you'd be more comfortable with you know, going to like a more private setting or.
We can do it here if you want.
Okay, good. Yeah, and that way, you know, you can also figure out which of the books you need and stuff.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me about the case that you're working on? Where are you going through this research? I understand that
Well,
you had to drop someone off yesterday.
yeah. Well, he was an SRD, so or whatever the
Hmm.
term is. Eric forgets the number.
SNR.
SND.
SND.
SNR. Yeah.
Yeah,
SNR.
SNR. But he was the most recent one, so things were pretty fresh. So we thought maybe we'd check some things out. Went to the mortal world to sort of go through his last day's routine with his dog who also passed, and found his spirit pretty messed up, pretty warped. So we got him back for treatment, and yeah, looks like things went pretty bad. From what I could tell, it looked like maybe a messed up summoning that combined with the trauma of what looked like some pretty nasty stuff that ended him. So
I see. You can as you guys are talking about this stuff, Robert doesn't like produce anything to write this down, but you kind of recognize the look on his face of like him just like casually like mentally jotting stuff down
right.
to just kind of mentally keep track of. So you went through that. That's a bit of an unusual set of occurrences.
Yeah.
So
Well, the whole have not reaped thing is pretty unusual. It's been getting worse. So
has it been on your mind lately?
well, yeah, it's obviously Gideon needs the help, and helping out there.
Is that the only thing that concerns you about it? Is just that it's putting pressure on Gideon?
I mean, no, it's looks like there might be some sort of systemic thing going on, but I couldn't tell you where to start looking for that.
And how do you feel about it?
No,
Or how do you feel about the case that you just went through yesterday?
It's pretty fucked up. Guy shouldn't have to go through that, especially if he died the way we think he did. Like he deserves whatever reward and or punishment is coming his way, not to get it all derailed by some dickhead with a second-rate spell book. If that's what happened, it could have been anything. That's just the theory I'm working on right now.
Okay. So it seems like you've got a lot of thoughts on how this is affecting the victim, how this is affecting your partner.
Yeah.
How do you think this stuff might affect you?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't given it too much thought, honestly. Just doing my thing, I mean, it's a
Just
little bit of
doing your
something I have
thing.
some expertise with, so it's what I'm helping out where I can.
So you're a bit focused on the present right now, you would say.
Yeah. I mean, lots of present to go around. He says, sort of gesturing at Limbo in general.
It's the more of it you find, the more of it you find there is. That's right. What do you think, Alex? What do you think about his life before that happened to him?
I don't know, looked like he was just sort of living a decent enough life, and didn't have a lot of connections from what we could tell, but maybe a little lonely, but I haven't actually talked to the guy. Maybe he liked his solitude. He had his dog, he'd like to go running, had his job at the club. Seemed to be doing all right. Didn't seem to be fucking with anybody that didn't deserve to be fucked with. Didn't seem to be getting anyone's way or that kind of thing.
Didn't deserve to be fucked with. So it's your belief then that that this man that he didn't deserve to have what happened to him happen to him.
No, he did. He definitely did deserve that. Not from what I could tell.
How does it make you feel about whatever person's thing, whatever. How does it make you feel about what would have caused that to happen to him?
Well, the guys that well, don't know exactly what happened, but those guys, well, they're not going to the nice place, that's for sure.
Well, you might be surprised who does and doesn't end up in the nice place, as you put it.
Yeah, that's that in itself is a bit fucked up. You know that, right? I mean, come on, Robert. Like people, there's where people deserve to go, and then where people go. That ain't right. You know that, right?
I'm afraid that I'm not the one who makes those decisions, Dan. Um, we've been over this before, and you know that you're not here because I decided you should be here, for example.
You know what? I don't mind being here. I like doing what
Really?
I'm doing here in Limbo.
Interesting. So you're not worried about what'll happen if it's determined that your time here, your temporary position, what's going to happen if it should end?
Well, ideally, I think we should make what I'm doing here permanent. I think
Really?
I'm doing good work here. I think you guys could use me, and I think I enjoy the work. So you know.
Are you worried that you're going to wind up in a place that's worse than this?
I'm not going to dwell on that. I've got my job here. That's what needs to get done.
So you're not really focused on that right now.
I got some guy that just got pulled out of limbo by something, and we need to figure out how that happened because it looks like it might be happening to other guys. That's what I'm worried about right now.
You do seem to be pretty hard focused on things that are happening right now. Things that are happening right now in your career, your temporary position. More so than you seem to be concerned with what might lie ahead for you personally. That seems to be pretty consistent with the position we've been at for, what year is it again? 2022, 40 years. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Dan, why do you not like talking to me?
It's not that I don't like talking with you. I want to do my job, and this kind of keeps me from doing that.
Okay. All right. Well, like I always say, I'll be ready to talk with you about. Well, maybe you don't even know what you wanted to talk with me about yet, but I'll be ready when you are. Okay.
All right. Have a good day, man.
I didn't say we were done.
He said as he closed the book he had just opened up.
Listen, Dan.
Yeah.
I think that you have been doing everything that you can to prove your value in the position you're at right now. And I think that may have been because you're trying to change this assignment, which was done for the reasons of oh gosh, what is the term I'm looking for? Therapeutic reasons for assessment of your case, and are trying to turn it into more of a temp trying to work his way into a permanent assignment. And I think that the more you've been doing that, the more that you have been making yourself overlook the true purpose of why you are in this position. And I'm not going to say that what you're trying to do is, a fruitless endeavor or anything like that. That's not entirely up to me what's going to happen at the end of this. But if you want my advice, and I know that usually you don't, I think that you should try and sort out how what you're doing here reflects on those who are in a position to determine what state your soul is in and the condition it's in terms of if you're ready to move on.
Okay, but
And I know that there's a
want to
lot.
move on.
I understand that. I understand that. Look, Dan, I know you've been here for a long time. Fear of the unknown is one of the big reasons that mortals fear death in the first place. You don't know what's going to happen to you when you slip all the way over from the world in between the mortal and the immortal. I understand that. But just as a spirit grows restless when it's in the physical world, eventually, if you're in limbo and part of you knows that you're not supposed to be in limbo, you won't go through the exact same thing that Alex did, or maybe even something super similar to what Alex went through. But something will happen to you. That's why I'm here, to make sure that, just like you do, for other people, that you get to where you're supposed to be.
Where I'm supposed to be is where I can do the most good, and that's right here, right now.
He makes one of those kind of like grimace smiles, the tight-lipped kind of curl, and closes his eyes and nods. He says, "All right, we'll talk to you next time, Dan. But if you need to see me for anything, like I always say, you don't have to wait until our next session to talk to me, okay?
All right.
All right. Good luck with your assignment." And he
Take care,
gets up to leave. And I think that is where we're going to close
Cool,
off
cool.
today. So, guys, thank you for joining me. We, again, unfortunately experienced a bit of technical difficulties, but we will be back probably not next week.
Right.
But we'll see how things go for the next time here on Dungeons and Dragons Abeyance.
Yep.
And next time we pick up, there might be a little bit of a party going on.
Oh God.
We'll see how that goes.
We'll be the fanciest owl of the party.
I'm getting the impression that anywhere is a party with Rick.
And that's going to do it. Catch you guys next time.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Later.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.